All right, without any other interruptions, let's go ahead and get into tonight's webinar. There's only a couple of us here, so I'll try to make this really, about what we're focusing on. So Sigma Sniper Pro is one of the systems that I built for the NMKL Trading Academy, and its purpose is to give us some levels which are built on deviation levels that do a couple of things for us. Allow us to see where the market can turn around. As you see, a lot of times these levels become support and resistance. A lot of times price will pull back into them and bounce. Okay. They're also calculated based on a previous day's move. In other words, the true range of the previous day is how these are calculated, these deviation levels. And I go out three full deviation levels with these zones. More than enough that you'll probably never have to worry about it too often getting outside of the zones. What's a beautiful about this trading system is, and I'm going to share with you how I have uh, mine set up, is you have daily zones, okay, you can go with weekly zones, monthly zones, quarterly, and even yearly. Now, as you get further out, of course, they are going to spread out further. You can um, select your zone levels here. If you want all the way down to intermediate zones, you can break it down pretty small. All right. Now, for a lot of us, that's probably too cloudy on your charts, but that gives you a little bit more clarity sometimes if you're looking for a really close support and resistance. I like to keep those unchecked. Now, for my display, up here, well, let's start off with first time frames. I check the daily zones because with futures, we're trading based on the day. Okay. At the end of at the close of the day, you got to be out of the trades, or you should be out of the trades, unless you want to get slippage to calculate it into your trade. Slippage being if it closes right here at the top of this deviation level, depending on what the markets do in that hour of reconciliation, it could open up here or it could open up down here. And depending on where your stop loss is, whether you're in a buy or sell, could put you out of the running in the market. It could take you out of your stop loss or on your stop loss. Okay, so keep that in mind. That's why we trade when we're trading futures, I like using the daily because I know when it's going to close. Um, Now what I also like to do is I set my border opacity for about 80. That way it's just barely shaded and then, or I mean, it's darker. And then my zone opacity to about 25 so it's lighter. You can see price and what it's doing inside the zone instead of having a real dark color. Okay, now one of the key features of this is the trading style. Okay, I'm an intraday trader more than I am a scalper. Okay, scalping to me is just too quick, too small of a time frame, going to get you in a lot more trouble. And that's just basically how I feel about that. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind. So I like to select intraday. Now, scalping is not bad if you like scalping and just catching a small run or something. I also have the swing trading charts in here. I mean, I've got it set for swing trading. You can see that basically there was two sell areas last night. We won't trade this because I threw my filter in here and I just set it to the chart. And then you can see that there was a good trade here this afternoon. But that's if you want to swing trade. I usually use a higher time frame than 10 minutes for that though. And if you ever want to kind of get an idea of which one you should use, here's a little information button right next to the trading style that allows you to see what this is set up for. Okay. So that's some good information right there. Now, I like to show true price and extend it across because this is set up for either using Heikinashis or you don't even have to use Heikinashis. Totally up to you. All right. Um, all right, just something to be aware of there. Then you only use the show the true price dots when you're using Heikinashis. You don't have to do it for regular candles. Right now, I'm just using regular candles on my chart. Totally up to you. And for dot price, whatever color you want to select. You can go small, large, or big, depending on what you want to do with it. And I recommend using the price dots when you're trading Heikinashis. Why? Heikinashis take an average of true price and build a candle on it. Okay. What has actually, it goes back the last 2 or 3 candles. All right. I hope that makes sense. Um, so let's go ahead and go back to intraday here. And let's see what's happening. Okay, it looks like we got a sell candle forming. I may take a trade on this here in a minute. I'm not sure. Let's let this candle finish out. But anyway, I also, when I'm trading regular candles, I click on this disable Heikin-Ashi warning. Okay, very key to uh, understand that one as well. Anyway, that's my settings. Pretty easy to set. A lot of the variations in here are set and turned off to access of just anybody, having access to them, just for the purpose of everybody won't know what what the settings should be. So again, I put my zone height, depending on the market, I'll go anywhere from 0.05 all the way to 0.15. Okay. So a little bit of clarity with that. All right, now I do want to talk about how I set this up. Now, what I do is everybody's got access to the market trend filter, the multi-time frame market trend filter. And what I do is I come in here and for trading futures on a daily chart or a daily setting on these deviation levels, I do mainly one thing here. I'll set this to chart, EMA period, leave it at 300 as always, change period at 5. And what I like to do is trade the overall trend, which that's what this is here. All right. We're only doing sells at the moment. Because that's what the filter says. I want to stay in that overall trend. And if you would have done that last night, you would have been able to get in on this trade and then this trade here throughout the night. And then for the most of the day, market was kind of wonky as far as gold. This is gold right now, though. Keep that in mind. So that's just a little bit of the market analysis. Now, what I do is I basically, when I'm trading futures, I'll trade one micro contract, and every time I just trade if I get an alignment of a sell and the filter tells me to sell, then of course I'm going to get in here and I'm going to take this trade. What I'll do is get in here and I will set my stop loss not at the next level, but the one below it. Okay. And this is where I would have set I'm sorry, not my stop loss, my take profit. I would have simply put my stop loss up here. I'll show you that with a short trade tool. Okay, here's where we get into the trade. Okay, I will set my stop loss just usually right above that zone. Okay, and then I'll take price down to right here. And if you look at that, that's a 2-to-1. We want to have at least a 2-to-1 or a 3-to-1 trading scenario when we set our take profit and stop loss. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't still manage our trade. As trade comes down this way, you just simply manage your trade to break even to and then so on and so forth downward. Because what you want to do is you want to lock in those profits. You want to become profitable. Um, Trade management, along with the right risk to reward ratio, is going to keep you in the game. And that's really the uh, perfection of account management, is simply that: keep your risk to reward 2 to 1 or better, okay, and trade management. Now, you may not always hit your 2 to 1 or 3 to 1, but the reality is you have a better chance of doing that. Now, with trade management implemented into that, well, if it comes back and you only get a $30 run out of the trade, well, guess what? Trade management helps you lock in that $30, $40, $50, $100. Okay. And I also want to reiterate that $500 a day for who 221 trading days in a year simply means that for 221 trading days a year simply means that you are on track for $125,000 a year. Now, if for some reason and you know, let's say you're winning 70, 80%, well, you're still doing pretty good. The bottom line is, if you do your risk management correctly, use the 2 to 1, 3 to 1 risk to reward, 1 to 3, I'm sorry, 1 to 3 risk to reward, or 1 to 2 risk to reward management, trade management, um, you're going to be profitable a lot more. You're going to be a lot more profitable over time than you will if you're worried about what your probability factor is. I still get in trade groups today and see what's going on out there, see what the newest and latest trends are. And the number one thing is everybody's worried about winning every trade, and you can't do it. You just cannot do it. Especially beginners. They're focusing on their probability. Now, we did that for a little bit here, but the thing is, it's not the right recipe. Again, if you look at my webinar, if you go back a couple, number one thing I do is I show you this pie chart. 20% is strategy. That's it. 20% is strategy. Account management and risk management is the next 30%. And then 50% of it is basically, it's all about mindset. Okay, so that gives you the 100%, the 100% of what it takes to be a successful trader. Very key to understand that, because if you cannot follow risk management rules and trade management rules, you're not ever going to get the psychological piece to work for you, or the trader's mindset. So we're not really here to focus on how much money we're making in the beginning. We're here to focus on following the rules. Okay. So with this system, rule number one for me, and I'm going to share this with you. This is a Sigma Sniper Pro. And the first thing I do is I look for a buy or sell signal. Okay. Then I look at my overall trend. I put the market filter trend on here. You can put a 200 EMA, you can put a 300 EMA, and you can focus on what the trend is. Okay. But I I don't counter trade very often, just because a lot of times in my situation, because I still have a job, just beyond broke. Okay. It's a great paying job, but you know, the point being is I can't monitor the trade every second of the day. So what I do is I simply set the trade. Let's say it's a sell trade. Then I look at the trend below, the overall trend, and I say, okay, well, today's market is it's sell off. So that's why this last night was a good trade to get into. And this other, well, after market closed last night on gold, and then I'm sorry, after market opened, and then also on this trade right here, at about 1 a.m. out here on the West Coast. I got in on this one and was able to make a couple $100 off of this trade overnight. because price broke down here. I set my stop loss or my take profit just right here in this zone. Okay, like I said, I go down not the first zone after I get in, but one below it, and that's how I place my trades. Um, so Sigma Sniper Pro, again, like I said, you got four different trading styles, and I'll just kind of go back and look at the settings again. Um, I select the daily zones for futures trading. I would select the daily zones for if you're just trading stocks. Because remember, with stocks, with futures, with Forex, you can have that slippage. But make sure you understand what slippage is before you go trading, but over the day time frame, or especially over a weekend. Now, I think you can hold futures over the weekend and from one session to the next if you are trading your own capital. If you're trading on a proprietary firm, they're going to close you out at the end of the day because they don't want slippage to be part of your equation. And so that's why I use the daily. If you trade longer term with futures, or if you're trading Forex and you want to swing trade, you might look at the weekly zones, monthly, quarterly, or yearly. If you're position trading, definitely the quarterly and the yearly zones. Okay, so that's just a little bit of talk about the settings there. The zone levels, like I told you before, if you want more zones, you can clutter your charts with the in-betweens. I call these the intermediate zones. Once I take that off, these are the median zones. Okay, and then after the median zones, if you want to even minimize those and go to where your zones are 1.0, I'm sorry, zero point 0.5, 1.0, 1.5, two deviation levels away, and so on and so forth. You get what I'm saying there. Then what you should do is just check that bottom one there. So that it depends on how much you want on your chart. I like to just trade with the median deviation zones, and that's what I'm best with. Now on the border opacity, those you can set to whatever level you feel is going to be necessary for your taste on the chart. But for the NQ, I use a 0.05. For micro gold, I use a 0.05. If you're trading, um, it just depends on what you want to use. Okay. Um, depends on, I would pull up the instrument, open this, um, indicator and see, are the zones too big for what the price level is? If it is, turn it down, bring it down to 0.05. The initial setting is 0.15. So just keep that in mind. And then again, for this here, there's a little bit of information out here on this tab. If you're a scalper, 1 to 5 minutes, then you can select scalp. If you're an intraday trader, this is what I mainly do. Then you can select that one. Then for swing trading, you can see that there are a little bit longer terms, or a little bit longer term um, trade scenarios. Okay. Um, so that's for swing trading. And then even for position trading, you're going to see that it's even longer. Okay. And then I would probably also turn up my filter a little bit higher for position trading. So that's just a little bit. And I also use, um, you have to correlate the trading style with the type of charts you're using. All right. Or time frames that you're using. So keep that in mind as well. I'm on a 10-minute chart currently. Usually ideal 15 or 30 is for intraday. If you're swing trading, you want to be using a 1 hour or a 4 hour chart. And if you're position trading, go with a daily. Um, Now, like I said, true price dots. This is if you're trading with Heikin-Ashi candles. Um, it'll show true price on the Heikin-Ashi candle with a dot. Okay, because like I said before, a lot of us trade Heikin-Ashi, some of us don't. I trade them. It just depends on what I'm looking for. If you like trading a trend candle, the Heikin-Ashi is probably the best thing to use. Then you want to use those price dots because they take an average of the current candle plus one candle back. Okay, so they're not really 100% true. But with this dot on it, it'll show you where true price is within that candle. So if you're real close and you're scalping, they're great items to have on your charts. Um, this line these colors, this true price, you got a couple of options here, whether you want a thin line width, okay, over here on the true price line, that's actually the true price line. If you want it thicker, if you want it dotted, solid, or dashed, that's totally up to you. And then if you want to put true price dots on there, you can. You can see with these candles, since these are regular candles, that they're at the open and close of the candles. And then you can change the color of the dots there. And like I said, if you're not using Heikin-Ashis, you want to turn off and disable this Heikin-Ashi warning label. Because if you don't, it's going to look like this on your chart. It's going to give you this big red alert. So I turn that off. And that's pretty much what I do with settings. You can go in here with the style and you can play with it if you want to. I usually turn off my inputs in the status lines. But again, let me go back. I am a intraday trader. That's what I like to look at. Intraday trading, not position trading, just to see what's going on here. Okay. Because I could potentially get into a sell here if this thing breaks down again. That's what I'm looking for. Right now, we're still in a downtrend market. And again, I'm trading the smaller trend to the overall larger trend. Okay, and that's what helps me alleviate a lot of false trades like this buy here today. Just basically, you would have got in here and not really made anything, and it would have taken you out eventually because you probably would have put your stop loss somewhere here. Okay, so again, one more time, how I trade this is when I get an alert, and I'm going to go over the alerts here in just a second because they are crucial to understand. When I get an alert, I'm going to set my stop loss back up here above price or above this zone, okay? And then I'm going to place a trade, and I usually like to stick it. You can buy it at market. I usually do a buy stop, or in this case, a sell stop. And what I will do right there below the wick of the signal candle, 1 to 2 ticks, just so I don't get a big wick and then a pullback and it takes off and goes against me. Okay, that's one of the tips and tricks that I teach here. Okay, so I use a sell stop. And then, of course, I put my take profit down somewhere in this area, 2 to 1, or I mean a 1 to 2 or a 1 to 3, risk to reward. Okay, this here I don't trade it because I don't have an agreement down here. Then I get back in over here. All right, I'll put my stop loss somewhere up here, and I'll set my take profit because price is right here. I'll set my take profit somewhere right around this level right here. Okay, and these two trades would have brought you, with just trading one micro, about $350 in the last day. Okay, not bad. And again, I reiterate, if you trade the 221 trading days that we have available during the year, and you can achieve $500 a day, that's $125,000 a year income. There are people today that are really killing it out there trading because they're growing their accounts, they're trading on these prop firms, and they have these opportunities to trade more than 5 micros. Okay. So I've got about 10 minutes left. In these last 10 minutes, what I want to do is take some time here to show you how to set an alert. Okay, and I'm going to let this cat out of the bag, building a scanner for this so you can monitor more than one indicator at a time with the scanner. I'm sorry, not more than one indicator, more than one market with a scanner. Um, and that scanner will be available probably in about 2 weeks. And I'm just going to give it to the group for free that are already a part of the group. Um, Let me get rid of the drawings here. Okay. But what that scanner is going to allow you to do is see when the alerts go off so you can go to that market and maybe that's a market you want to trade. Okay? Maybe it's not. I like to trade the MNQ, the MES, the MGC, which is gold, and I trade oil. Those and the Rusty 2000. Those are the five that I stick to, and you will see that most of my trades are on if you were to look at my trade blotter, okay, or journal. So this is a very powerful system. It uses deviation levels. Um, and I think you guys already have access to it, the Sigma Sniper Pro. Even if you recently come on board, I have provided this for everybody. If you don't have it, please send me a message in Sigma or in the Discord channel, okay? Because I want to make sure you guys have an opportunity to trade. Much more stuff to come. So if you're a member, you're a lifetime member, and this stuff is really going to set me up for trading for my retirement. It'll help you guys also. Looks like we're getting gold to maybe finally bounce here. We'll see. But I'm going to be patient for a little bit. I want this to be in my, I want the overall trend to be in my trade or in my favor. Okay. I want this to turn blue basically. Okay. So I said I was going to show you, I've got about 7 minutes here to set an alert. Okay. An alert simply allows a phone or a message to go to your phone or go to your email or wherever. Let me show you this real quick. If you want an alert to go to your phone, you need to open your, go up to the left where you see your icon and get into your profile in your settings. Okay. So, what you need to do is make sure in your profile that you have your phone number aligned to your account. All right. That is very key. Align that to your account. All right. So, um, that way, when you set up an SMS alert here in a few minutes, you're going to see that it'll go to your phone. All right, let me also now go ahead and show you guys how to add the alert. What you're going to do is right click on the chart and it says add an alert to MGC1. All right. So once you get this little ticket that pops up here, you're going to go to condition. You're going to be able to select Sigma Sniper Pro. Okay, you can see it there. Now you're also going to look and say it's going to right below it. Still, we're looking at condition, long or short. Well, you're going to have to set up two alerts to monitor this market. So this is going. We're going to set up one for long. Okay, I'm going to have this trigger once per bar close, and depending on what your expiration is, you need to be able to go out and um, whether it's an end of day, 1 week, 1 month, yada, 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 custom date, you need to be able to go out and set that to where you want it to end. The message, you can go in and change this for what you want it to be. I'm just going to say on this one, MGC long. Okay. So that's what I'm going to see on my phone. All right. And then this is a key one right here, notifications. Once you make sure your phone has been set up, one, you're going to notify, if you want it to notify in your app, then go ahead and click this one. The app on your phone, if you use your phone along with your TradingView account on your computer, you'll get a notification in your app, all right, in the mobile app. Toast notification, I have that selected because it gives me a little alert down here if I'm sitting in front of my computer. Webhook URL, you guys don't use Discord, so don't worry about that one. The sound you want it to play, okay, a chime or a dog or whatever. There's a whole bunch of different selections down here. And then this one is send plain text. All right, this is where I want to receive a signal on my cell phone. You're going to click it. And then once you're done with it, you hit apply. And then just make sure that that alert is over here. It says create. Oh, I hit apply. Now I got to hit create. Now what it's going to do after it creates it, you're going to see it over here in your alerts format. Now your alerts are where this little clock is over here to the right. All right. And then if you want to make another one, just do the same thing. The first one we made for long. If you want to also monitor shorts or sells, you do the same thing. Okay. Now let's reopen that up. I didn't make sure all the stuff was set up correctly. 10-minute time interval. I don't want to add any conditions. Once per bar close. This is usually mandatory. Open-ended alert. Yes, for me. It depends on what account you have with TradingView. But set it out as far as you can so it'll run all the time, and then you can go back in and reset it later on. If you only got 2 or 3 months that you can push it out to, then set it, and then in a couple months go back and revisit this and reset it up. Message short, M MN. Wait, this is MGC short. Okay, and you can change this message to whatever you want and get a little bit familiar with TradingView when you do that. Okay, I hit apply. And there you go. Again, you want to make sure that your settings in this short, let me just go back here to notifications, apps, and toast. I got about 2 minutes left before we end the webinar here. And I'll be over in the Discord chat if anybody has any questions after this, okay? Notify in app, you want to click on that one and have your app on your mobile if you want alerts to come to your phone. Show toast notification, that's usually a default that everybody picks. And put that down here. Webhook URL, do not worry about that. Pick your sound that you want the alert to be. And then click on this to send in plain text. After you verified your phone number is set up here in your account profile. Okay? And really, guys, I just gave you a whole lot of information. Go back and watch this because this is money. This is going to help you trade for the future. All right. Without further ado, I hope you guys have a great night in the trading room, a great trading opportunity this week, and I'll see you in the trade room. I'm probably going to be doing live trades once I get into them. I'll probably just jump into the live trade room from time to time. We'll get these webinars rolling every Tuesday night, and we'll be training on these different systems: the market trend system, the Sigma Sniper Pro, the supply and demand system, and all these different systems that I'm providing for you guys to have an opportunity to trade. Now, these systems eventually are going to become available, or will only be available as a person purchases a system. So most of you guys bought the market trend system. You see all this other stuff in here, but this is designed to help you guys come in and become better at trading. All right. Nate here at NMKL Trading Academy. I hope this has been a beneficial webinar. I'll see you in the trade room. Take care.